Once upon a time, there was a fearsome monster who lived deep in the mountains. His cave was littered with all kinds of treasures that he had stolen from nearby villages over the years. But the monster wasn't very bright, and over time he forgot where he hid most of his loot. But then a sly little fox poked his head into the cave and said, "I'm pretty good at finding things. Say, do you mind if I take a look around?" The monster agreed, and the fox began running around the cave, sniffing everything. At last, he stopped and looked at the monster and said, "You have a lot of stuff here." And he asked the monster, "Why are you sitting here looking so glum?" He disappeared when he went to visit that stinky monster's lair, and I've been looking for his things ever since. Could this be him? The monster felt a pang of sympathy for the troll and replied, "If you find anything that looks like it might belong to him, please take it. It'll mean more to you than the gold I could pay you." The monster panicked and shouted, "Yeah, sure. Can I help you with that? If you can count faster than this rabbit, you can have half my treasure." The wolf didn't hesitate. He began rapidly counting the gold, and sure enough, he finished before the rabbit, who was hopping mad when he realized he'd been tricked. The monster explained his predicament and asked the troll if he could help him, promising to pay him 200 gold coins. "And you won't be able to cheat me again." With that, the rabbit hopped away, and the wolf proudly took his half of the treasure and disappeared into the forest. Some people he managed to find, and others he left the items with someone who would pass them along. Though he never quite forgot what he had taken, the monster didn't dwell on it. After all, it was far more rewarding to make new memories than to keep old ones. And the people whose belongings he had stolen were so grateful for their return that they quickly forgave him for what he had done. The monster was welcomed back into society and eventually became known throughout the land not as a fearsome beast, but as a man with a heart of gold. The troll didn't like arguing with monsters, so he agreed and got to work sorting through the monster's treasure. Just then, a wise old owl swooped down from above and asked what was wrong. The monster explained his situation, and the owl said, "I can help you, but only if you pay me with knowledge instead of gold." "Tell me, monster, what is the hardest thing you've ever done? But I think I can help you find what you're looking for. How about we start with these bags?" "Those were pretty hard, but nothing compared to getting this treasure out of my cave." And so the monster led her to his treasure pile, where she perched on top and began to speak. "You see, you've been holding on to all this stuff for so long that you've forgotten what it means to you. You stole these things for one reason or another, but none of them really belong to you. In fact, they belong to the people whose lives you've touched. Maybe it's time you gave them back." Carrying sacks of gold and jewels over such rough terrain took a Herculean effort, and I've never forgotten it. He tried to cheer himself up by counting the number of gold coins he still had, but he quickly lost track. Just then, a little brown rabbit hopped by and asked what was wrong. "These things don't bring me any joy, and I know exactly where to return them." "Thank you all." The monster explained his problem, and the rabbit offered to help him count his money for 50 gold coins. The monster agreed, and they got to work counting the stacks of gold. One day, the monster was lying on his treasure pile trying to nap, but a tiny mouse scurrying around his hoard disturbed him. Inside was a sturdy wooden flute. The troll recognized it immediately and broke down crying. "All this time I've been looking for him in the wrong places. This was my boy's favorite possession," he said. "Oh, how could I have been so blind?" The monster didn't know what to say, so he just let the troll cry on his shoulder for a bit before asking, "So, do you need any help carrying all that stuff back?" And so he decided to organize his treasure so he could finally get some rest. But it soon became clear that this wouldn't be easy. "It's too much for me anyway. You can have it. Just please, monster, don't ever steal again. My boy told me that's what you like to do, but I never believed him. I thought he was just making things up because he wanted to stay out later. I'll pay them 100 gold coins." Oh, my poor boy, the monster had so much stuff piled up in his cave, and it had been so long since he'd paid any attention to it that he couldn't sort through it all. So he called out into the mountain, "Hey, is there anyone out there who could help me sort through my stuff?" Instead, he climbed onto a rock and bellowed, "Who's out there? Come back here, you mangy fox, or I'll come out there and rip your head off." But no one answered him. They had all run away. And so the monster was forced to sit there while he watched the sunset, which made him feel even grumpier than usual. "Hey, those are my coins." At first, no one answered him. After all, who would want to risk angering a monster? The fox picked up a small leather bag and opened it to reveal 30 shiny gold coins. Then he put it down, picked up another bag, and repeated the process until suddenly the monster sat up and exclaimed, "Put them back, you thief!" Of course, the fox refused and grabbed the bags, which were indeed filled with the monster's gold, and ran off as fast as he could. Now, normally, the monster would have chased after the fox, but he thought better of it. Just then, an old troll shuffled by. He had been collecting firewood for the evening. He roamed family through some old rags, and suddenly he cried out, "Hey, I remember these. These belong to my son." And so the troll kept searching, and eventually he found a pouch hanging from a stalactite. Not only did he have even more stuff to sort through now, but he'd lost half his treasure. "No, thank you," said the troll. And with that, the troll shuffled off into the darkness, leaving the monster alone once again. "Then I think I can help you," she said. But just as they neared the end, a sleek gray wolf trotted by and called out, "Hey, I heard you talking. You may have beaten me at counting," he yelled, "but I'll be seeing you around, monster." The monster slumped onto a rock and sighed. The monster thought for a moment. Well, he said finally, it was either climbing that sheer cliff face or fighting that giant eagle. They all nodded knowingly. The monster felt a sudden clarity. "You're right," he said. From that day forward, the monster made it his personal mission to return every single item he had stolen to its rightful owner.